Okay, I really have no, I'm starting the recording again. I have no idea when it clicked out, but hopefully after we finish this function. So this function is now running. If we didn't record it, this is how you do it. And now we're going to move on to the second one. I copy and pasted it because it's going to be mostly the same. And what's the only thing that's going to change is the rest of our endpoints. So let's actually go back to what Hank was asking about before. And so if we remember all the way back when we talked about our HTTP requests and response, and we were talking about the URL, we have basically our URL, then we have the path, then we can pass query parameters, right? Basically, we can pass information in the URL. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to pass search information, right? Specific things that we want to look for. Now, this isn't going to work for every API. This is just how our API is set up. That's how it's built, so it will respond to what we're going to do. So there's an example of it right here. So it looks like we're going to go to the same endpoint. You see that? Same endpoint. And then remember, when I'm done with my path, if I want to add query parameters, I need a question mark. That's the symbol for like, okay, everything that follows, there's going to be key value pairs. And then the key value pair I want to pass is something called filter equals, and then this thing that looks like an object, right? So I'm going to actually copy all of this, and we'll edit it to be what we want. So we're going to come over here, put that in there. So we're going to do the URL is the same. Filter, we're going to say where, but we don't want byline, we want section. Because remember, that's part of this article object. Where the hell did that go? Section right here. And we want to say where that equals the section that's going to get passed into the function, so we can interpolate again. That's Ruby. Section. Cool. Does this make sense? Cool. Everything we do after that is the same. Let's run this test again, and hopefully we get 2 passes. And we did. We passed that one. Cool. The last one is just all articles. That's actually going to be the easiest one. We'll deal with the filters next time. And that's actually just going to be, I think I can just give it all that and just do URL. Right? I think so. Let's run this. Cool, and we've passed all our tests. Questions about this?
So you mentioned the return statements up on the fetch.
Yeah.
Does it work if you have the fetch and then you return JSON below? Mm-hmm. It'll only work like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. Because we want to return the result of all of this stuff, basically. So.
What is this JSON? Like in the
right here. This one? So this is the function. Right. Let me write this again as an actual function. See, I hate and love these things. Okay. So this is just a function. Right. JSON, what the result of line 17 gets passed in. I can call it whatever I want. We can call it cool, and then we just return. This is just what gets returned. So like this is the same as saying return cool.
Oh, okay.
So it's just going to get passed in and then immediately returned.
Why do we have to? This is confusing me. Why? I feel like we're doing it twice.
I know it feels that way, but it's because when we call this, it returns another prompt. When we call JSON on this response, it returns another promise, and we just have to deal with it with event. It's just the way it's structured. Okay, cool. All these functions that we just wrote are being exported so that we can use them in other files. So now we're going to hook all this into React. Finally, we have gotten to React. Grab my notes here for this part. We did that. Okay. So, yes?
Up at the top, so where you have USite2, and then you have the API folder around the side. You have that API folder, and then you have source, and then you have this API folder that we've been making.
Right.
Which one? What's the difference in those?
Yeah, so the one that's at the top level, this holds all the stuff that's running the, it's delivering the JSON. This is like this is the actual API, right?
See that?
This one, yeah, this is a bunch of stuff that we're not going to have to. We don't need to touch that.
And then inside.
In here, it's like naming wise, I get it. It's a little confusing, but what we're basically saying here is like all the functions that deal with getting data from the API go in this folder. Is
And
that?
it's always gonna be
No, it can be named whatever we want, but this is like a convention to call. We could call it, if we were hitting different APIs, maybe I would call this Ticketmaster API, and then I would call another one Facebook API, and it would have all the functions for the Facebook API. But since we're very generally just dealing with one, they called it API. Cool. Okay, so we're exporting. So we wrote all the functions that we need. Now we actually have to hook them up into React. So this quit again. So I guess this just isn't getting recorded because I don't know why this keeps quitting.